Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. The Massachusetts Department of Public Health has confirmed another 3 monkeypox cases this week, raising the total identified cases to 6 in the state. On Tuesday, 1 additional case was reported in a male patient and 2 were announced on Wednesday. Testing for the 2 new cases was completed Tuesday at the state's public health laboratory in Jamaica Plain. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will now conduct all future testing to confirm the cases. While officials confirmed the 2 cases were not connected, all patients are isolating to prevent further spread of the virus. In total, 72 cases of monkeypox have been diagnosed in the U.S. On June 23rd, an emergency WHO committee will discuss what steps should be taken next and to consider declaring this issue an international health emergency. According to the Baker administration, more than 2 million rapid antigen COVID-19 testing kits will soon be in the hands of Massachusetts residents. Tests will be given to the state's 351 cities and towns, where local officials will then decide the best distribution process. Overall, nearly 30 million rapid antigen tests have been provided to Massachusetts residents and a broad range of educational, health, human services, and other organizations. Tests will be distributed on a rolling basis over the next 2 weeks. For a list of cities and towns, you can visit mass.gov. According to a new report from the CDC, 2 new subvariants account for more than 10% of COVID-19 cases in the state. Until last week, BA4 and BA5 hadn't made its way into the U.S., where its sister strain BA2 and BA2.12.1 still account for most cases. Now, recent data shows that the 2 new subvariants have begun to spread more rapidly, with the rate rising more than 3% in the last week. Nationally, the strains account for nearly 30% of all COVID-19 cases. The variants appear to be more transmissible, but do not cause more severe illness in comparison to other versions. The state is still monitoring and reporting health trends. Yesterday, over 34,000 molecular tests were conducted and 1,543 new positive cases were reported. Currently, 510 people are hospitalized in Massachusetts and 44 are in the ICU. 13 new deaths were also reported. The town of Braintree also continues to monitor COVID data from the state. In the last week, the town hall reported 50 new positive cases. The town hall website currently shows a total of 10,564 positive cases since the start of the pandemic. There have been no new fatalities reported in 3 weeks, keeping Braintree's total deaths at 137. Thank you for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more stories.
The COVID-19 vaccine doesn't contain the virus, so you can't get COVID from the shot. You may experience things like muscle aches, fever, or tiredness, but these are most likely signs that your body is building immunity to protect against the virus. Learn more.
Welcome back. The Braintree School Committee has approved transferring $5 million from its budget to help fund the new Central Maintenance Department, reducing the school budget from $75.6 million to $70.6 million. Last month, the school committee approved the creation of the Centralized Maintenance Department, combining staff that work for the schools and on the municipal side into a single operation under the town's Public Works Department, with between 65 to 70 employees. The Town Council approved the consolidation in December, which Mayor Kokoris proposed as a way to improve the condition of school and municipal buildings and to save money by having tradespeople on the town payroll doing the work rather than hiring someone from outside. A year after Canine Kit's death in the line of duty, his partner, Officer William Cushing, established the Canine Kit Foundation to help train, equip, and raise awareness for canine teams nationwide. The foundation will provide relief for violently injured canine teams across the country, while raising awareness and continuing the education and training of handlers to ensure teams are properly equipped. It will also connect community members interested in supporting canine teams with those officers. In a statement, Cushing said, quote, "Kit was one of a kind warrior who gave his life defending me and my fellow officers. It's in his memory and the warrior mentality he instinctively possessed that we are forming this foundation to aid other canine teams nationwide." End quote. You can follow at Canine Kit Foundation on Facebook and Instagram for more information. And to donate to the Canine Kit Foundation, visit caninekitfoundation.com or Venmo at Canine Kit Foundation. Braintree mother Marie Shattuck accuses Vero Health and Rehab of Watertown of being responsible for her paralyzed 33-year-old son's death after neglecting to answer 11 calls to the nurse's station when he died on New Year's Day. Jack was paralyzed at the age of 13 by a rare neurological condition called transverse myelitis, which causes inflammation of the spinal cord and can lead to paralysis and, in Jack's case, quadriplegia. Last December, Jack was scheduled to move into a residential facility, but suffered due to complications and was hospitalized at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. When he recovered, his placement was not yet ready. His mother said the hospital transferred him to Vero against his will to the 163-bed facility, and she holds the hospital partially to blame for his death. Since he was paralyzed, Jack used Siri to call the nurse's station and text his mother. Shattuck said the nurse's station failed to answer Jack's calls until it was too late to save him, and that by the time the staff at Vero Health and Rehab of Watertown used her son Jack's phone to call 911, he was already dead. She said, quote, "No doubt if he had not been in that place, he would still be alive," end quote. Crystal Evans of Braintree is an advocate for people with disabilities and has even gained national attention a few years ago when she used her wheelchair to shovel and clear sidewalks in South Braintree Square to help others with mobility issues. Now she is getting help from members of the Braintree Rotary Club to help her stay independent and in her home. For the last few months, she hasn't been able to leave her house as the ramp she uses to get in and out of her home had deteriorated to the point where it was unsafe for her to use in her motorized wheelchair. Currently, work is underway on a new wheelchair ramp, with club members creating the design and survey work and even some of the labor to demolish the old ramp. The club is also raising money to help Evans with some of the renovation costs, which are estimated at $100,000. So far, the drive has raised nearly $11,500. Donations to the fundraiser are tax deductible and are being processed by Work Inc., a nonprofit that develops community-based programs to support people with disabilities. For anyone wishing to make a contribution, you can go to givebutter.com/crystalsophie. Thanks for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Mosquitoes are out. Protect yourself from mosquito bites and the illnesses they can cause, like Triple E and West Nile virus. When outdoors, use an EPA-approved repellent and wear protective clothing. Learn more at mass.gov/mosquitoes and ticks.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. Annually, the city of Quincy launches fireworks over Blacks Creek near Marymount Park, and last Saturday, firefighters spent about an hour and a half during the night putting out a brush fire on Pine Island that was started by the city's Flag Day fireworks show. Quincy Fire Chief Joe Jackson said with the dry weather conditions, along with a lot of dry, thick brush out there, is a recipe to get Pine Island going. It has started brush fires on Pine Island for the last several years, but the fire crews were more prepared this year by staffing extra crews. Luckily, there are no homes on Pine Island and it is surrounded completely by water. Jackson said, quote, "It's never an exposure issue for residents. It's the type of landscape we look for when it comes to controlled burns, and all things considered, it is a very safe place to set off fireworks," end quote. Reverend Ken Reed Brown of First Parish in Hingham, also called the Old Ship Church, said a caller who identified himself as a Hingham citizen questioned what sort of religion they were and went on to accuse the Reverend and the congregation of condoning sin and pedophilia. He said the church was a disgrace to Hingham and he was offended every time he drove by and saw the rainbow flags. The church asked for a police detail as a precaution on Sunday afternoon following the angry phone call with the congregation for hosting a community pride event. The Hingham Police Department arranged for an officer from the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department to be at the church all day. Reverend Reed Brown said, quote, "Though this caller never directly threatened the event or me or our congregation, his tone and language were angry and threatening enough that our leadership decided that the prudent thing to do was to ask for a police detail." End quote. Reverend Reed Brown said the church has hosted many Pride events and has been an annual tradition for a number of summers. This is the first year he has received such a phone call. During the event, more than $800 was raised for the Trevor Project, a nonprofit that focuses on suicide prevention efforts among LGBTQ youth. The Sumner Tunnel in Boston began its first weekend closure this past Friday, as MassDOT began extensive rehabilitation on the 87-year-old tunnel. The work will shut the underground tunnel that runs one way from East Boston to downtown Boston from 11 p.m. Friday night through Monday morning at 5 a.m. for 36 weekends. Thousands of motorists who use the tunnel on a given day will be rerouted to the Ted Williams Tunnel or on a winding detour into Revere and Chelsea. MassDOT will completely close the Sumner for 4 months between May and September of 2023 in the project's second phase, then shut it once again for a still unspecified number of weekends in the fall and winter of next year in Phase 3. MassDOT officials said many repairs are needed as the tunnel was built in the 1930s. Officials said the project will lead to detours and delays for north of Boston and East Boston commuters, as well as many Logan Airport travelers. Drivers traveling downtown from Logan or other parts of East Boston will be diverted to the Ted Williams Tunnel, while those headed for I-93 northbound will be asked to follow Route 1A north to Revere's Bell Circle Rotary, then wind through Chelsea and over the Tobin Bridge to reach the interstate. The 2022 A Community Thrives program, a $2 million initiative created by the Gannett Foundation, will award grants to groups looking to improve their communities. A Community Thrives will accept applications for organizations looking to bring awareness to a project that focuses on community building with an emphasis on affecting historically underserved individuals and groups. Director of the Gannett Foundation, Sue Madden, said the program offers not only grants but opportunities for organizations to extend their networks and deepen their donor base by creating connections with our consumers. Organizations can apply at a communitythrives.mightycause.com/giving-events/act22/home. The fundraising phase of the program will take place from July 18th through August 12th, and recipients will be announced on October 5th. Thanks for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
Protect yourself from mosquito and tick bites. Use an EPA-approved repellent anytime you're outdoors. Spray it on your hands first, then spread it on your face, neck, arms, and legs. Learn more at mass.gov/mosquitoes and ticks.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now here are some new movie and binge-worthy show recommendations. The latest season of Peaky Blinders was finally made available to stream in the US. The 1919 Britain is a mixture of despair and hedonism, with returning soldiers, newly minted revolutions, and criminal gangs who are fighting for survival in a nation rocked by economic upheaval after the Great War. One of the most powerful gangs, the Peaky Blinders, is run by returning war hero Thomas Shelby and his family. Though Thomas has bigger ambitions than just running the streets, he recognizes an opportunity to advance in the world because crime may pay, but legitimate business pays better. Trying to rid Britain of its crime is Inspector Chester Campbell, who arrives from Belfast to try to achieve that goal. You can watch Season 6 of Peaky Blinders on Netflix. Next in entertainment, if you haven't watched it yet, Stranger Things Season 4 was released on Netflix on May 27th. The series takes place in 1980s Indiana, following a group of young friends who witness supernatural forces and secret government exploits. As they search for answers, the children unravel a series of extraordinary mysteries. Season 4 is split between 3 main plot lines. Taking place in 1986, the group who remain in Hawkins must face a new supernatural threat known as Vecna, while the group in California try to find their way to get to Eleven, who is dealing with her own battle of managing to regain her powers. All the while, Joyce and Murray try to break Jim Hopper out of a prison in Russia. You can watch Season 4 of Stranger Things on Netflix, but prepare for a cliffhanger as Volume 2 won't be released until July 1st. And finally, We Feed People, which tells the story of renowned chef and humanitarian Jose Andres, who works to help communities dealing with disaster by providing healthy food to those affected through his nonprofit. World Central Kitchen, also known as WCK, is first to the front lines, providing meals in response to humanitarian, climate, and community crises while working to build resilient food systems with locally led solutions. Oscar-winning director Ron Howard spotlights Chief Andres and his nonprofit's mission and evolution over a 12-year journey, from starting as a group of volunteers to becoming one of the highest regarded humanitarian organizations. That'll do it for news today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.